So today I am just sharing with you a story. I just made an incredible friend. I literally came out, set up my station with like my tripod and my microphone, and the girl that was sitting next to me was just like, I love your setup. And I was like, thank you. I was like, this is the first day I've actually decided to bring the setup because I've been just like holding my phone with no microphone, and like the sound has just been awful because there's always background noise where I'm at. And the craziest thing is I've had to like download apps and pay for subscriptions just to kind of like clear up the sound, which even then wasn't ideal. I just wanted to jump on here and tell you a quick story. So I was sitting out here and I was setting up, and I had literally a bunch of time to do this video, but instead I spent the whole time talking to this lady that was sitting next to me. Actually, young lady, she's younger than me, um, but I had to ask her some questions because she was in like a kind of different situation, and I had to just ask her. I was speaking to her and she told me her story, and oh my gosh, it just enlightened me so much and showed me how much strength and courage and hard work, that she put into her, who she is today. And if it wasn't for her persevering through some of probably the most difficult times of her life, she wouldn't be here with a smile on her face coming and telling me, like, I love your setup. And I just thought to myself, you know what? Life is not easy, and it's gonna sometimes kick us in the face so hard and kick us when we're down. But the realization that comes through these experiences and after experiencing those, when you look back, hindsight is an incredible thing. It really does show you how, not only how strong you are, but how incredibly resilient you can be if you actually put in the work, if you actually sit down with yourself and take the time for you and use that time to reflect on your journey. I spend several nights a week after putting my son to bed where I just literally sit there, put my feet up, and I just stare into space. And obviously, sometimes those moments come with ideas, sometimes they come with revelations, but a lot of the time, I just sit in the moment and think, how am I here? Why am I here? What choices did I make today? What choices could I have made that were better today? What choices can I make tomorrow? How did I experience this particular situation, and how did it feel for me? Can I improve the way I'm experiencing this? I asked myself a ton of questions like this, and that didn't just happen because I was born this way or I got taught this at school or my parents guided me through this. Yes, there were certain things that my parents did teach me, but many things actually that my parents did teach me, but this is something that I learned over time. you know I would sit a lot and question myself, doubt myself, and give myself a really hard time, consciously, subconsciously, and unconsciously. And over the years, with a lot of practice and dedication, I've been able to shift that into subconscious and then unconscious, and then hoping that some of my unconscious emotions around myself and perceptions around myself, they will come to the surface and they will come to light. And the more times I ask myself the questions, the easier it becomes to tackle and identify what needs changing, or not necessarily even changing, what needs honoring. And I think these certain words like change and like, rushing into improving and all these different things aren't actually helpful. In fact, the most helpful thing you can do is remind yourself that you're honoring yourself. You're giving it space and time to understand yourself. You're giving yourself space and time to understand yourself and understand your situation, understand where you're at, why you're there, and what you want to gain from your life experience. So many people, and this happens to me like regularly, like I'll be trying to be so conscious about my life and my situation, And then all of a sudden I'll just get swept up in the automation of my day-to-day life, that you kind of end up on autopilot again. The minute that you start, like, building a routine, it allows your mind to kind of go into an autopilot, but you've got to decide in what that would look like for you to be on autopilot. I would rather be on autopilot where I'm naturally doing things that I actually want to do with my life. For example, taking care of my health, taking care of my son's education, taking care of my internal state, my mental health, my emotional well-being, my physical body, my spirit, and this these revelations have taken almost a decade to kind of be able to even articulate to you and voice in this moment. This did not happen by accident. This is me focusing on what I've chosen to focus on. And now I'm able to relay some of that to you. And I knew that once upon a time I wanted to be of service to others. I wanted to help people. And I didn't know how. I didn't know what way that I wanted to do that. I had some ideas, but it was never a clear journey. It was me kind of taking little glimmers of my life and being like, yeah, I want more of that, or I want less of this, or I want to be doing this. Or I'd see other people achieving certain things and I'd be like, that's what I want to do. And the amount of years it's taken me to like handle my life at the same time as watching other people probably fulfilling what I would have wished for myself, but having to, rather than comparing myself or like wishing that, oh, I wish I could do that right now when it's not possible at this moment in time, I decided to honor each season of my life and where it was at, so that I could prepare myself when it did come to the time to be able to speak. And it's like the journey has been me prepping and planning for this moment. And here I am. And I just wanted to share that with you today, because I just wanted to remind you that as much as you think that it couldn't happen for you, i.e., choose myself and get the life that I want, I promise you, if it can happen for me, because I've made it happen for me with, obviously, like God, and co-creating in that conversation with God as a daily routine, as a daily ritual, as a daily devotional practice, to pray, to dream, to remind myself when I'm tricking myself, to remind myself when I'm like psyching myself out and tripping basically over certain things. I have to check myself at every single step and be like, hold on a minute. Why are we doing that to ourselves? Like, why are we punishing ourselves? Why are we having to choose? Why are we taking ourselves out of one cage and putting ourselves into another? Why are we restricting ourselves? Why are we limiting ourselves? And it's like, well, listen, you have the choice. At every single interval, you have the choice. Even when you feel like there's no way out, there's still choices that maybe you cannot see. And the only way you're going to see them is with God's help. And that is why prayer and having a conversation and an open dialogue with God is going to shift your life. Now, whether you believe in God or not, that's another story. We can have that conversation. I'm not here to convert you or, say this particular way is the right way or Islam is the right religion. No, everybody's experience is unique. Everybody's relationship with God is unique. I'm just talking about honoring and recognizing that we are a species that is created by a creator. And when you recognize that we can tune out from like the whole world, the people, the social media, everything like that, and we can actually tune in to what's here, this connection, you'll start seeing life differently. Slowly, very, very slowly. You'll get trickles, and it's like a test of your faith. It's almost like God saying, hey, you know what? Let's test your faith. Let's see how loyal you're going to be. Let's see, when the chips are down, are you really going to come? Let's see, if I give you something that you want, are you going to be grateful for it? Let's see, if I take something away, are you going to trust me that I know what I'm doing, like a parent would, right? That's how I'm seeing it. And this is also come through for me along the journey of motherhood. Like, had it not been for the throes of motherhood, I don't think I would be sitting here having this conversation with you. I don't know where I would be. I don't know who I would be. And honestly, I don't need to worry about that or think about that. All I need to do is focus on me in this moment and recognize that my relationship with God is the utmost priority. I just wanted to share that with you today. I hope you were able to take something from me today. Sorry, I haven't been able to take off my shades. It's way too bright. But I need to go now and pick up my son. We're going to go for a nice swim and enjoy the good weather. And I hope you're going to have a great day too. All right, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Yeah, definitely. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know if this video resonates, anything in there speaks to you. I'm just here sharing my truth in hopes that if somebody else out there can gain some sort of value or wisdom or anything from my journey, that's why I'm here. I'm even if one person can tell me that this aligns with them in any circumstance, please tell me because I'd love to hear from you. And I really hope that you have an amazing time. Until next time, I'll see you soon.